Nikki Sestaro is a veteran hairstylist in the beauty industry with over 3 decades of experience. From her start as a 15-year-old shampoo girl to becoming the owner of Karma Beauty Studio, Nikki has transformed countless clients and mentored budding stylists. Known for her ability to turn hair nightmares into red carpet dreams, she's part therapist, part magician, sculpting confidence as much as hair. When not wielding scissors, Nikki indulges in her second passion, food, often exploring multiple restaurants in a day. Her journey has now led her to writing, with her debut book, Super Hero, offering an honest, humorous glimpse into the world of professional hairstyling and salon ownership. Nikki embodies the artistry of her craft, proving that with enough hairspray, chutzpah, and vision, one can create a life as vibrant and stylish as the look she designs. Her story is a testament to the beauty of passion pursued, both behind the salon chair and now on the written page. So let's make some noise for Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I appreciate everybody coming out on a Thursday night to come and see me and support my book. And those of you might have read it, some of you might not have. I just appreciate that everybody's here to support me. This has been a very long journey for me. Those of you who do know me, this has been since I'm 15 years old. I wouldn't choose anything else to do with my life. I've given everything into my job. And to write this book, it comes from a place of frustration and a place of just wanting to do good for people and coming home and beating myself up all over for it and wondering if it's still the right job for me. But I hope you guys all appreciate it. All right, let me get to it. Sorry for the glasses. Well, it happens, as they say.
Before glasses.
I know some of you did know me before glasses. So, thank you, Pamela Smith. So, Superhero is not just a story, it is my story. And it's probably close to many other stylist or small business owners' stories as well. It's not just a job, it's kind of a calling. And a calling for what, I have no idea. But to me, it is. I can't explain to you the feeling I get when I see how my work can turn somebody's day around. How all of my sleepless nights and backbreaking work make this beauty parlor function like Big Ben. My grandfather, who was a big staple in my salon, kind of like our Karma mascot, always said, he's with me writing, if you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life. And if you knew him, you knew he'd be spilling coffee all over my floors. He would recite this mantra. But that old goat was right. It's the best job in the world. We make people happy. Who else can say that? We make it look easy, but trust me, it is not. It's part of the job. We are the trusty flight attendants walking around with the drink cart like nothing's going wrong, but the oxygen masks are dropping and the plane is plummeting to the ground. It's our responsibility to get it done without you ever understanding the struggle. Salon ownership is a constant uphill battle every day. Somebody always needs an appointment, somebody is always sick, something is always back ordered, and something is always broken. All fingers will point to me to fix it and make it better. Well, lucky for me, I have Schneider, my husband Joey. The little lucky girl. I am lucky. Get a guy with tools. The fixer of all things broken and in need of repair. Even today, in all the craziness leading up to this event, my head stylist is out sick this week, and I'm going in bright and early to accommodate not only mine, but her clients tomorrow morning as well. It's possible that I keep doing what I do because I lost so many brain cells along the way that I don't know any better. Or maybe all this chaos is the fuel I need to survive. It's either that or a Sauvignon Blanc, because they both do the trick. Many of you has known me a long time, and maybe even sat in my chair once or 100 times. So you might know many of the stories and situations I wrote about. Some actually experienced it firsthand, watching it unfold as they sat in the salon waiting for the color to process. Some of them might have been victims of my early makeshift garage salon. I see you, Mark Rosen, wherever you are, right there. For those of you who do not know me, put your seatbelt on. It's all true. Now I'll read these are excerpts from my book. When I decided to write this book, I had so many thoughts running through my head that I felt it was time to start putting it all down in paper. So many years in the industry, watching so much begin to change, that I have experienced what some would call the arc of a career. I'm still the same person standing behind the chair, essentially doing the same thing I did from way back when I started, yet evolving into a craft I never thought imaginable. The way I cut, the new concepts of hair color, the world of hair extensions and smoothing surfaces are so different from the beauty parlor life I entered into. Sometimes I wonder if the 15-year-old Nikki could see what the 50-year-old Nikki has become, saw the work I do now, and what it took to get here. Would she still want to become a hairdresser? For a long time, the hairdressing industry was looked down upon as a peasant occupation, a job you resorted to because you weren't smart enough to go to college. Walk one day in our shoes, well, not my shoes, but in our shoes, I think you would disagree. It's not a field for rejects or a purgatory for those who can't find themselves. It's no place for the weak or unmotivated, because if you don't have the heart, it will not work. It's backbreaking work partnered with a street-smart sense of how to deal with the public. Having 3 minutes to analyze what a client is asking you to accomplish and finding the stamina to do it. When a client is in the chair, the hairdresser comes second, respectfully making you the priority because you are paying for our time. And the minuscule issues of our own life stay parked outside in the parking lot to give you our undivided attention. You know, through the years, I've dealt with the ridicule and have been shamed for people who view what I do for a living as a hobby. The minute they'd hear hairdresser, they'd look to me with pity like I was the hired help, like not cool enough to sit with the mean girls. But karma's a bitch, so let's see how important I am when those gray roots start growing back in. So, just saying. When I started in the industry 35 years ago, it was the bridge of time between a beauty parlor turning into a beauty salon. The scent of lacquer and perm permeated through the air, and highlights were known as frostings. You would find your new fabulous look in one of those big hardcover style books that sat on our coffee table right next to the cigarette ashtray, because yes, we were allowed to smoke in the salon back in those days. There was no such thing as social media, no Instagram to inspire your new look, or no TikTok or YouTube to figure out how to do it yourself, which you should never do. I was what was referred to as a homegrown stylist, starting out as a shampoo girl when I was in junior high school in 9th grade, simply because I didn't play a sport. I had no skills and no formal training, which the lady who I washed, the very first person I ever washed, the book is dedicated to, quickly learned at the shampoo sink on my very first day of work. But this career found me, and I did whatever it took to get better. I know that any new stylist of today is fueled by what they are learning on social media, which to even a dinosaur like me, I will agree it has inspired me and put a little bit more drive into my tired old hands. Balayage techniques, custom color, and hair extensions. There's an Instagram reel to teach you just about everything a stylist needs to know. But not if you don't already have the experience under your belt. See, this newer generation of stylists don't have the desire or the drive to start from the beginning as an assistant. They think they can learn everything that they need to know on YouTube University because it looks easy, duh. But trust me, I fix all of their bad work, and I'm here to tell you that it is not. They choose not to join a team, to work independently in a suite on their own as a #hair boss until the inevitable happens. They realize that they don't know everything because they do not have the experience and inevitably leave this career because of their crippling fear of failure. What we are also lacking today is the personalization of one-on-one contact. Everything is dialed in these days. Almost everything could be done over a Zoom call that we are becoming so disconnected from people, and social skills are suffering. But the hair industry can't be dialed in. We actually have to stand over a person for hours at a time, and you might actually have to have a conversation with these people. So don't get me wrong, if I could color your roots over a Zoom call, I'd be in. And that would be great, but that's not what this world is about. Our hands and our creative minds will never be replaced by AI technology. As nice as it would be to have such instant gratification by the touch of a button, it does not exist in our world. So social skills are important in what we do. To be honest, it's 50% skill and 50% personality. to make it in this field. You can be a sucky hairstylist, but if the client felt heard and special and knows that you had their best interest at heart, they will come back to you. It's like an experience in a restaurant. The food might have been but if the service was exceptional and you enjoyed the experience, you'd still go back. Okay, where do we go now? Oh, the joys of salon ownership. I don't know where I should begin. Well, that's the reason this book was written. I've said it many times. I should stick the broom up my ass so I could sweep up while I'm running around doing everything else. So now let's start with the assistants. Sarah, this has nothing to do with you. You're exempt from this. Hold on. Let me drink first before I talk about it. This is how my nights usually would end after a day of work with the assistants. Oy. First off, I must say that I value the job of an assistant as one of the most important jobs in the salon. They tend to every single detail that goes into running a salon, taking exceptional care of our clients, keeping the salon consistently clean and neat, and working alongside the stylist all day long. And I've had some of the best assistants anyone could ask for, Sarah included. But Lord, if I ever had a reason to padlock the door or be checked into an insane asylum, it's 98% due to an assistant employment. First of all, trying to find them is comparable to finding your soulmate on Tinder. It starts off as a hopeful booty call, but usually there is no happy ending. I've had from vultures to thieves to crybabies and head cases. I've single-handedly seen it all. I've had assistants live with me. I've paid for their hair education, treated them like my family, and they still leave and still drive me crazy. This is a little story about an assistant that I had, a very brief assistant that I had. Right after COVID lockdown, I interviewed a 25-year-old girl who answered my ad for an assistant position. She was just about to start an exclusive beauty school in New York City and came early one morning to interview. She was already following our business on Instagram, and when she saw our ad on Indeed, she happily applied. She excitedly gushed about our work that she saw from social media and said that she would learn so many great things from us. She seemed eager and was ready to jump in and join our team. It was a busy day, and she stayed to start immediate training and to learn the ropes. She was super excited, asking questions about color techniques we were doing and products that we were using, executing everything she was asked to do with record speed and a smile on her face. She was there about 5 hours until she asked one of my employees how I pay my staff. And she knew my hourly salary that I promised from my ad on Indeed, but apparently she thought this was a cash pay job. Now, my shop's named Karma. We got to be honest. We got to do things right. You got to do things by the book. So I don't do that. But she did not realize that. When she heard that this was an on-the-books job and that our pay would be in the form of direct deposit, not cash, her whole demeanor changed. She asked permission to run out to her car for a minute. She grabbed her pocketbook from the closet, and she never came back. After 15 minutes, I texted her to see where she was, and lo and behold, her blue eye message came up green. The bitch blocked me. Till this day, I think she might have been kidnapped because there was no indication that this eager girl who excitedly took to everything she was doing and seeing would leave just like that. I guess that extra money that the government was paying must have been the dangling carrot to keep her on the fast track to nowhere. She gave up an opportunity to grow in a fast-paced educational salon for a few extra bucks from unemployment, or I was right, and she was abducted. Yeah. So, very true. A lot more, but that one felt talkable. So this book is a lot like the salon version of The Help. So let's uncover some secrets. Was it you that ate Minnie's pie, Joey? As this chapter is titled, You Can't Make This Shit Up. Very appropriately named. It's all true, and not to worry, all of the names have been withheld. But was it you? I guess you'll have to read it and find out. Yes, I've had somebody call the cops on me because she claims that she wasn't happy. And yes, people do steal. Or at least this one girl did. But somehow it was my fault that the product ended up in her purse. But not to worry, she's going to pray to Jesus for me. Like I said, you can't make this shit up. So this is from the chapter, You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm in the middle of highlighting a client's hair, and all of a sudden I realize I'm not feeling so great. Out of nowhere, I begin to feel dizzy. I break out in a sweat. A minute later, boom, I fainted. My coworkers ran to help me, not exactly sure what to do, but elevated my feet, got me juice, a cold rag, anything to help me out of that situation. As I begin to come to, over the shoulders of my concerned coworkers, I see my client with half her head in foils, waving her arms around like a fucking nut, asking if I was going to be able to finish her hair. True. She is offering no help whatsoever and showing any concern for my health. Instead, she's in a full-blown panic attack that only half her head is foiled, that it might not be finished properly for her nephew's wedding that weekend. I'm starting to feel a little better, and I just can't stand to listen to her any longer, so I got up and I finished foiling the rest of her head. I give my assistant instructions how to finish her hair and leave to go to the hospital with my husband, who was called as soon as this had happened. Hours later, at the end of the day, the crazy foil lady called the salon. When the manager realized it was her on the phone, she immediately assumed she was calling to see how I was doing. Nope, not at all. Not a word was asked about me or my health. Instead, she was asking what shampoo was used on her hair that day because she absolutely loved the smell of it. And her hair felt so good. But it gets better. As I'm resting at home later that day, I remember the panicked, unhelpful, crazy foil lady was an emergency room nurse. Yeah. A qualified professional that should have elbowed her way past all of those people to follow in her nurse's oath to help me out. I guess she was off duty, which I was every time she tried to make another appointment. Yeah. Sad but true. Sad but true. So let's talk about owning this business. God, I miss having a boss. Someone I could deflect all the blame on, throw every obstacle their way, put my scissors down at the end of the night, not think about a goddamn thing until the first client the next morning. I've never had kids, so I would imagine it's comparable to having 6 kids of all ages that never grow up and ever leave the house. I ventured into salon ownership because I was miserable working for the salon owners I worked for in the past. Dysfunctional work environments, unfair business practices. It was an uphill battle, and I wasn't willing to fight it anymore. I began to notice my friends were moving on to their next step, beginning to have kids and starting families, but that wasn't high on my list of priorities. I felt this gravitational pull for me to have my next step, and in lieu of diapers and a baby stroller, it was this. It might have been easier to have a kid, but I chose this. This is my path. Still working behind the chair all day, but unclogging the salon sink and solving staff issues at the same time. Fixing a broken light bulb while playing referee between employees that just can't play nice in the salon sandbox. Doing everything to stay relevant and current in our clients' eyes. Dressing the part with high heels and a smile on my face, all while figuring out a way to pay for it all. 18 years in this role as a salon owner, and I've learned that it never gets easier. I've probably gotten numb to it after all of these years, or maybe it's just the alcohol, hence my own personal bartender, traveling bar. This has been everything and nothing that I have ever expected. It's not for the weak, and it completely takes every ounce of my being to keep it going. And even when you think you are on the right path, something happens to derail you onto another road. It happens every day. But at the end of every day, we make people happy, really, really happy, and better looking, thank God. We are important figures in their lives, like their own personal superhero. Part therapist, part stylist, and part friend. And that is rewarding as hell. And I am done. drink to that. So, are we?
Yeah, I think we got time for some questions.
Yeah. Is there any questions that anybody might have? Anyone?
I'll start if
Bueller. Yes.
I named the store Karma, but now I kind of,
The Karma was named for my former employer who didn't believe in karma. And when I quit, it was the cherry on top when she found out that I was leaving and opening a salon, when she heard that name, because she just, it didn't, no. Yeah. It was just my little cherry on top. Yes. 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 Anyone else?
I have one.
Yes.
I noticed that you mentioned The Help while you were speaking.
Oh, yes.
It's a great book. It's fiction. Did you have to take inspiration from a different memoir? Or did you just find
Oh,
it
no.
easy?
Oh, I had too much material
much
to
to say?
even dare take any information. No, this was all, it kind of, as when I would watch that movie or I was reading that book, it actually felt very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like there were so many stories that I could tell because standing by, I mean, it happens all day, every day.
They're all true. I lived 30
He comes home and hears, and my poor husband, I beat him up over it and he hears every one of
I think
them.
you need to bake a pie for the nurse.
I think I should. Who should eat that pie? That's really what I want to know. And and not to worry, none of what I did back there is anything that anybody has to worry about. Not at all.
So, Nikki.
Yes, Jerry Katz.
Thanks. You did a good job of hiding everybody's names and, everybody innocent. But not too hard to put two and two together if you know what goes on and you know some of the people. Have you had any incidents of criticism from any of the people that were not named?
I'm going to say that I do check in my back seat when I get in the car at night, and I don't pick up the phone when the calls come in. But no, I have not had any negative criticism.
Not even from the obvious suspects?
No, because most of the people I did write about, maybe I don't really see anymore. Maybe not. Anybody, any other questions? Yes, Lily Glickman?
You said you were 15 when you first started. Where was your first job? I know you grew up in East Meadow.
I was at Spectrum Hair Designs on East Meadow Avenue. And the lovely Pat Acaro would wake me up in the morning. She was the mom that was referenced that would wake me up and get me a bagel in the morning and drive me to work early on a Saturday while my lovely friend Kim would sleep till 12 noon. I didn't name you, but I did just name you now. I'm sorry. I take it back. If I could take it back, I would take it back, but I'm not taking it back.
Backseat tonight.
I'm going to check that back seat. Any other questions? Yes?
You run Karma, which is like a company, a corporation, very complex.
Thank you.
And you have clients who, have their quirks, and you have employees that have different personalities. Which of those components do you think was the hardest for you to sort of, live with or work with?
I can handle a client. It's funny that, everybody has quirks. We all trust me, I have quirks. I know that I have to apologize all day long. Some of my employees are here. Hello, Cindy. I do apologize because I'm the quirkiest. I could be very short, and I could be very bitchy, and I could be very demanding. And working together, I actually think that that's the hardest. The clients are going to be, some clients, and I don't mean that because a lot of my clients are here tonight. Some are needy, and some are, they're impatient. But you know what? They're here and they're choosing me. So I never look at a client. So to answer your question, I think it's harder for staff. We work together in a very small environment for many, many hours in a day. I think it's that. I think it's that. Clients are going to be clients. We're just so grateful that you're sitting in our chair and you're choosing us, that's what it is. But I will go home and trust me, my husband could probably write his own book. This is like a censored book. He could write his own book about what he's heard. So, yeah, yes?
I have an odd question only because
I like odd questions.
I have a fiance and I have learned a little bit about this industry in the last 5 years, much like he probably knows also. And through attrition, how many people come and glom on, learn, trade, and then leave you like a parsley or a plate at a roadside diner and go to
The hits just keep on coming. It happens every, or they get their own suites, or they leave. I'm like the girlfriend that makes the boyfriend better, and he leaves and makes somebody else very, very happy. Yeah.
How much of that attrition is generational?
A lot of it's generational. But you know what? I think that even people who are a little bit older, that are not just thinking the grass is greener constantly, they just, listen, maybe I make it look easy. It's not. It happens. It happens to everybody, and I'm noticing dealing with other people in my level in the hair industry that have been in there as long as I've been, and maybe our owners or head stylists. People just feel that going out on their own is their best interest. They're doing what's in their best interest, but it's not easy.
And how many of those fail? Would the majority of those who do it not make it simply because they assume it's easy?
You know what? I'll put it to you this way. If they do succeed and they've worked for me, I taught them well.
Yeah.
So if they
and
go...
all the power to them.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, all I feel is I give 100%. If you want to leave, just let me know. Yeah. Don't surprise me. Don't blindside me. Don't do that. But I have had people leave. I don't look back once they leave. I get over it. It takes a long time to get over it, but I don't look back. So if they do succeed, good for them. But they probably think of me every day because it's not as easy as I make it look. I make it look easy. And just as other people in the industry, they make it look easy. Yeah. But that seems to be the headspace these days. People seem to think that it's like, I'll just get a suite and make it easy. Well, you have to pay that suite every week and get your own product and get your own, do your own books, do your own bookings, do everything. It's not that easy. Yes. Lady in the back with the best hair in the room. It has to be her.
You're using what I tell you privately. You're saying it publicly. Okay.
We're in an open forum, and I have alcohol in me, so
Oh boy. The salon suites that you've mentioned a couple of times. I'm wondering your opinion as to whether you think it's a passing fad.
Oh, it's a fad. It's a fad. It's a fad. It's what looks like the dream. I'm going to be my own hashtag hair boss. When you have to do what is responsible of being a salon owner, when you have to do all of the things that I have to do, that other salon owners have to do, it's not that nice. It's not that fun. I wish on a million stars that I could just go to work for somebody who would have a boss like me. Go and do my job and put those scissors down at the end of the night and take my fancy handbag and walk off and come back the next morning and everything is just back and stocked. It's not that easy. And when you're on your own, it seems like it would be. I mean, you're by yourself and you feel like you're going to be able to make your own rules, but sometimes it's nice to be part of a team. So I do think it's a fad. I do think that I've been hearing a lot, that some of the salon suite people are wanting to go back into a team, a family. Yes? Hello?
There wasn't much in the book about your product suppliers or products. Is there any interesting anecdote about?
Well, they're all trying to get me to use the next best product. But you know, I'm a cherry picker. I like what I like, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I won't do it. But I always keep my eyes open for new and interesting things. But they know me. They know if people have been working for me. Some of them are actually here tonight. If I'm not interested, I won't do it. But sometimes I do like when they leave me some stuff, and I learn about some of the new products out there. So I'm open-minded, but I'm a dinosaur. I like what I like. Yes?
As a business owner, would you say it's like inevitable that you're going to be stolen from? Do you talk about that in the book at all?
Stolen like products or?
Like any type of level that you consider to be robbed?
You know what, I guess I'm trying my best to be positive about it. And I don't go into it thinking that way, but it's happened. It's definitely happened. It's happened. But they don't work for me anymore. And those clients don't come to me anymore. There's a very interesting chapter about a lovely girl who stole from me, and I just called her out on it, and it just didn't end well. She's the girl that prayed to Jesus for me, because I'm a terrible salon owner that I found the product in her bag, but no, I try to be positive.
No.
Wrap it up with
Are we okay?
Do you have a favorite story that didn't make the cut?
You know what? Sadly, as soon as this book went to print, I was like, God damn it! I should have put that in. There is a few. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a sequel. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate it.
All right, everyone. So we got plenty of time to get our book signed, and of course,
Okay.
Nikki, we got plenty of.
Nikki needs one more cocktail before she signs any books.
Alrighty, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Next Chapter Bookstore. My name's Nick. Before we start, I just have a couple quick announcements.